Welcome one, welcome all to the greatest show on Smite game. We got big teams, small teams, crazy teams, unusual teams, silly teams. If you find teams like this anywhere else, you better watch it. I'm the Hindu man, alongside me is the analytical mastermind, sporting a fantastic bow tie of his own. Kretz, how are you, sir?
Well, it's good to be here, my friend. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in today's matches. We've got four great teams: Agilitas, Walk It Off, Exposed Secrets, Heroes and Zeros. One of those not expected to be here when we first went into the plans, but Heroes and Zeros got the upset over i5. And, you know, they've got a shot just like everybody else. I think this is really one of those situations where not too many people can agree on who's the favorites going forward.
Yeah, no one's going to know who the favorites are going into this one. I mean, the one surprise really is I feel like Heroes and Zeros are the real underdogs, correct, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they are the underdogs of these four teams that are going to be involved this weekend overall. However, we saw at the LAN event, the underdogs of Coast and SK Gaming technically going into that were the ones that came out victorious overall. So it is EU, and you know anything can happen, really.
Yeah, anything really could happen. We've seen upsets before, and we could definitely see them again. And there's also a lot of roster changes coming in, and so the plans, shockingly, are going to have more SPL players than you might expect. Suntouch is on Agilitas, Panda Viandi from North America now on Exposed Secrets, and Walk It Off has Half Devil as a sub, and Sayo, I heard, playing solo lane?
I did hear he was playing solo lane as well for Walk It Off, so we'll have to see how that one's going to work out for them. I mean, that is the only thing with Walk It Off right now, correct, that I'm feeling could be a small concern for them, is with these roster changes coming into this, it's not a lot of time to prep, really, to make sure they're ready. I mean, Sayo's a fantastic player, but will he find the chemistry coming out of the solo lane to be able to consistently perform?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult. That said, out of all of the roles that require chemistry, solo lane is like,
That's
you
true.
see your jungler for about 2 minutes, and then maybe he shows up, probably not for the next 20. And then you show up, and it's all about the team fights, which Sayo's always been good at. I mean, Aphrodite, Isis are niche picks that he's pulled out for about a year, and he's really made those work, and they're team fight characters.
Yeah, I mean, they really are team fight. And the one thing about the solo lane as well, a lot of the mid laners that Sayo plays can transition to the solo lane very, very well. And, you know, with the farm and the ability to not have to rotate as much to begin with, it can pay off for them. But we're into game one right now on your screens, guys. This is going to be Walk It Off facing off against Heroes and Zeros in game one. Heroes and Zeros on the left-hand side of your screen, and immediately with the Aphrodite ban.
Yeah, Aphrodite taken off the board. Sayo is very strong on that pick. He played it in the middle lane versus i5 in week 10 of the qualifiers, so he could certainly play it in solo. And also, you know, it's important to note with Vexes and Sayo on the same team, two mid lane players in playing mid and solo. I can't wait to see Walk It Off versus Agilitas, which is very similar. Pretty Prime and Confrey both have mid lane god pools.
Well, Habwa banned out by Walk It Off, and Mercury as well. I like the Mercury ban because iRafa is very well known for his Mercury play. It's one of his strongest gods in the jungle there. The only problem with this is it's going to leave something on the table, and with Ram being banned out as well now, that has to be banned. Osiris is free for Heroes and Zeros.
Yeah, and Osiris is a very strong pick. Let's see what Walk It Off can get to balance it out. Zhang Kui gonna be hovered on, and maybe something like an Athena would be good right now, just to set up a Zhang Kui focused composition. They do have a fair amount of options, and the other thing is, you know, do you just pick someone who can box with Osiris? There aren't many characters, but Kali, for example, can do some boxing. Nemesis doesn't really box with Osiris herself, but with that Divine Judgment, you can allow your team to kill. But it's going to be Ra and Zhang Kui locked in, so that's going to be the mid and solo, no doubt.
I'm a little bit concerned right off the bat. The fact that they give up Osiris and pick Zhang Kui into it. I mean, Osiris, the only way to really deal with Osiris is to make sure you peel him with knockbacks or displacement to make sure he doesn't get off something. Zhang Kui doesn't really give that to the team. And so if Osiris locks onto that Zhang Kui, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. That's my only concern right now.
Yeah, that definitely could be the case. And with Gev being hovered on by heroes and zeros, that takes away a support for Walk It Off
Yep.
that would be very good with their Zhongkui. They'll probably be looking at Athena just
Tina.
before the
Yeah.
counterbands calmed out. That would be expected. But, there's also an Agni for heroes and zeros, which could be very safe. And it's going to allow their mid laner to get long range damage from very far back and then reposition if need be. And instead, it looks like the hover for Walk It Off is going to be on Artemis. Definitely a strong carry. The first hunter going to be picked in this matchup. And, Vostrikal is going to have to find a way to respond. Is it going to be Uller or is it going to be Apollo? Maybe Neath.
Well, I expect if Walk It Off are going to pick a hunter here, then they're probably going to ban one away during the counterban phase now. So we
Sure.
won't see Apollo, but what will it have to... I expect Apollo to be banned. That's what I'm going to expect from Walk It Off in this situation. Because you don't want to really leave Apollo off. Apollo and Artemis are the sort of standard two you see picked after Rom's banned out.
And Apollo will be banned away. And another part of that is when you're not super familiar with your opposing team's lineup, which it's certainly possible for Walk It Off considering Heroes and Zeros is a newer team, you might not really know the solo laners' god pools. And there's so many different kinds of solo lane players that you might not know whether to ban
That's
Vamana,
right.
Bakasura, or another mage such as
Hades, Mugiwawa.
Hell, maybe.
It's
And
it's Mugiwawa.
oh
And
yeah,
he plays a ridiculous Hades from what I've heard. So, yeah, a lot of people said that the nerf to Hades was because of Mugiwawa alone. But, we'll see if they choose to go. I like the fact they picked up Ra, though, for Sayo. He can just play that safely in the solo
yeah.
lane, or he can go Zhongkui if required. So I think they're going to stick to mages with Sayo on the roster in that solo lane now. Now, the counterban obviously coming out from Heroes and Zeros there was Thor, so they're focusing again onto Irafa in the jungle. So what is he going to be able to pick up here with what's available? I mean, Osiris has been taken away, Mercury off the table, so is Thor, but right now, Walking Off going to choose Athena, and I think this is a good call.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the support they were wanting to go for. And, partially I think Frezzy felt comfortable if they did ban away the Athena. And in some respects, perhaps hoping that they would ban it to take a ban away from Irafa. That didn't end up happening, though. Heroes and
No.
Zeros currently looking at the on her. Vestrikal's played it before, and he's very strong on that character. Definitely a good pick if you can really reliably land those pillar stuns, get the impale onto walls and such. There's not huge synergy with the rest of the team, but and in fact, I think there's definitely a little bit of counterproductivity with Osiris if Vastricol is not too careful as a hunter. And I also like this Loki pick, probably for the solo lane, and he's got some good targets to assassinate. He could take out Ra, and he could take out Artemis.
Yeah. One thing to note as well, I did just say Mugiwara plays a great Hades. I got my names mixed up. I was supposed to say Mugao. I got confused with the player names.
Oh, right.
I'm stupid, guys, at home, so fail fish in chat if you want to. That's fine. It's not a problem. It's got words from other players telling me you're an idiot Hindu. And I am. It happens sometimes. So Loki being picked up there. I like the Loki matchup into the Ra, which we're probably going to see in the solo lane here. Sayo just going to want a farm, and so is Loki overall. I mean, realistically, it's very hard for a Ra to kill a Loki in these situations unless he misplays it.
Yeah, but it's going to be a Fenrir in the jungle. So this is definitely one of those lower priority picks, and I think Irafa was at the point where you're like, okay, I can't get my Thor, I can't get Osiris, I can't get Mercury. What do I go to now? Kali. It really starts to go into like the really niche weird picks, and Fenrir could be good. He's not going to be peeled off easily by on her Loki, Osiris, or Geb. It's really just the Agni stun to get rid of that brutalize, which
That's
is
right.
pretty nice. That said, he doesn't have particularly great synergy with anyone but Fex's Ra. It's going to be a Zhang solo and a Ra mid, so there definitely is potential for people to be taken down with the Unchained Ragnarok into Searing Pain Celestial Beam combo, and be looking for that throughout the early and mid stages of this game.
I mean, on paper, when you look through these team compositions, correct, who are you favouring? Because the problem with Anher that I found personally is that he does fall off a little bit late game, and when Artemis gets to that stage, if she gets to that stage, then you're going to have to rely on the likes of Loki and Osiris in this composition to really pick up where he falls off.
Yeah, it's definitely true, but Loki and Osiris are going to be largely unpeeled, I think, by the walk it off
True.
lineup. I mean, there's like a taunt on an 18-second cooldown. Zhonghui has his point blank stun, but I feel like Osiris and Loki could really wreak havoc. And more than anything, it's going to be on the backline targets, the targets getting focused from walk it off, to stay alive, to do that extra little bit that they need to do. And a big part of that will be Aegis Amulet. Aegis Amulet is very good against Loki because when he goes in to assassinate you, you press that Aegis, the one that gets you out of stuns.
Yep.
It mitigates the next hit, which carries the vast majority of the damage, and Loki is stuck there doing too much. But let's head into this game in just a few minutes, guys, see what's going to happen. It's going to be Heroes and Zeros versus Walk It Off.
We are live. Heroes and Zeros versus Walk It Off in the first EU play-in week 2 in the round-robin stages. And Heroes and Zeros are going to be starting on the blue side, the bottom half of the map. As you see Mugiwawa, the Geb on support, warding deep and nearly getting cut out of position there. King going to be in the solo lane as that Loki. Enigma is going to be playing Agni in the middle lane. Daz is going to be in the jungle as Osiris. And Vastarakal is going to be playing the Anher as the Hunter. And what have we got from Walk It Off, Krat?
On the other side, Walk It Off will be Moex on your Hunter Artemis, supported by D Frezzy on Athena. In the middle lane, Fexus on Ra. In the jungle, Iraffer on Fenrir, Mecha Fenrir even. And Sayo in the solo lane, collecting ghosts as Zhonghui.
So many early wards coming out from Walk It Off already. You can see 3 on the map already in position just to get full control of what Heroes and Zeros are looking to set up. Is that because they're scared of the early invade, because of the aggression that could come out from Heroes and Zeros composition here?
Yeah, you know, I think that's probably what it is, because let's be honest, it's a best of 1, anything could happen. We all saw what the Chunks did yesterday, and there's just no point in risking it. Why not just go for something safe? And speaking of which, Walk It Off is going to be starting at their safe camps on the left-hand side with all 3 players. We'll see what they end up doing with this, but the mid camp on the left side will not be taken, and Fex is even going to stop by and help with red, so definitely unique. And we'll see what the ramifications of this are in about 2 minutes when the lanes really settle.
Yeah, when the lanes actually settle over. So we're going to see the red buff taken away, which says to me that in this duel lane, I expect to see Irafa hang around here a little bit longer than he usually would. Otherwise, he's going to fall behind in terms of experience now, Krat. But it is going to put a detriment on Zhonghui if he does that.
Yeah, it definitely could put a detriment on Zhonghui. And since this is really a more farm-focused lane, I think it's really about scaling into the later stages of fight, scaling into team fights, which is really just all about farm. It's not like Zhonghui can do a great job of recovering with gangster lane kills. Is honestly, Loki against Zhong is probably just going to look to farm safely and keep his ult as a way out when Zhong gets aggressive with that recall demons.
Well, looking for aggression is Irafa as he rotates back into this lane. I think that's going to be the game plan by the looks of it, is try and focus down this Loki. I mean, putting Zhonghui in lane against him instead of the Ra is an interesting call, and it says to me that they're looking to fight this Loki early.
Yeah, and those ghosts could be very, very good against Loki, as they will hunt him down even when he's invisible. And, you know, snap stuns coming out from Sayo could immediately reveal King on Loki if he's not careful. In the duel lane, a little bit of aggression coming out from Frezzy as he dashes towards. Nice 2-man taunt into the trap of Destiny. Vastrikal taking a lot of damage. Lucky crits, but not gonna find it.
He finds the lucky crit there. It's all she wrote for Vastrikal, but for the time being, he's going to be able to sustain lane for now. Going to use that health potion to try and heal himself back up, but I don't know how long he's going to be able to stay right now. He's gone for the Heart Seeker start, as has Moex on the Artemis. And the one thing to say about Moex as well is that he's the most scary hunter in EU. For the likes of Shaggy Shenk and Reels and all those players to say Moex is the danger man on the hunter role, expect to see him in this game be the one that needs to be focused down from Heroes and Zeros.
Oh, speaking of danger, though, Darzer's pulled his speed buff, and it will be invaded by Frezzy and Iraffer. This is essentially a 4v4 on this side of the map, and it's going to end up going to Raffer. So well played by Walk It Off. Nice jump away. They're just going to back out.
That's actually going to pay off for them, especially because Rafa gave up his red buff early on to the rest of the team to allow them to get an experience lead. That's going to pay off for him now because he's going to go back to his back experience camp there, the little back one, and that's going to allow him to hit level 5 off that, I'm pretty certain. Left-hand side, though, we're going to see the ball come out, and Geb's in a lot of trouble. Mugiwawa uses the shield, but it doesn't soak up enough damage, and he's going to go down first blood, going over to Moex and Walk It Off.
Yeah, and that's just the power against Artemis, as Artemis against Geb. if you manage to catch him out, it's going to be rather easy to interrupt his rollout. He just can't get away from you. You do good damage. Those extra crits still deal extra damage despite Geb's passive, and in the end, it's not too hard to find a kill. The right mid camp will be spawning, left will not, so it's very important that Walk It Off does secure this one, but they don't have a hog to do so. I believe that's going to be 1 harpy to each team there, and they're going to be looking for the left mid camp in about a minute.
Yeah, we'll see what happens to that left one. I expect to see rotations go. You can see Frezzy's already in the area at the moment. I'm not sure who actually took that left mid camp at the start of the game, but Frezzy should know, that camp's not going to be up for a little while longer. But I guess right now with Moex being ahead in this lane, he's going to give him some more chance to free farm and get ahead even further of this Anher.
That said, recalls coming out from Walking Off in the support role and in the solo lane, and that's actually Athena ult to mid. Yeah, he wants to get to this mid camp, but Fexus doesn't really have mana. Maybe just a snipe, but Searing Pain wouldn't even come in time, and now this could be a bad situation. Fexus taking 2 meteors, but that's Ragnarok into the tower. Darzur's about to have a really bad time. And the Broken Lord of the Afterlife is going to be able to get out, just barely.
Great use of the Lord of the Afterlife. If he survives this, which he's trying to do, as Rafa is still trying to chase, I don't think he's going to find it. He leaps on him, though. Going to look for the Brutalize, and the Tether's applied, and that's going to reduce the damage. Good Cataclysm coming out from Mugiwawa, just to make sure he couldn't continue that one. So overall, that was a small win for Heroes and Zeros, because they got the mid-camp and didn't lose a life.
Yeah, it was definitely good for Heroes and Zeros there. That Cataclysm was absolutely necessary, and it was really good that was a no-lose situation right after. You jump in, you get a kill, or they Cataclysm and you walk away because his team was on his way to make sure that there's absolutely no chance of him dying. Walk It Off is still looking very good in this game, and they're currently sitting up 1,000 gold, but only 500 experience.
Well, right now, Moex and Frezzy did just steal away the blue buff from Heroes and Zero, so Anher's not going to have this in the lane. Meanwhile, Rafa taking the blue buff down for his team. You can already see Fexes in position to start the red buff over, which has just been done, picked up by him in that lane. Check it with the solo lane, though, and at the moment you can see a small level difference in the ratio between Sayo and Arnking, and that's because Rafa stayed around a little bit longer than Osiris at the start, but nothing too unusual between that. I expect to just see farm moths for the time being until a jungler really influences it there. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree, and it's really more on iRaffer than Darzur to make something happen right now, as he is the early game focused jungler, but he's going to be heading to the right jungle, cleaning up speed, probably blue for Sayo, and this Loki hasn't really been pressured too hard. Darzur, on the other hand, is getting pressured very hard in his own jungle, forced to use Lord of the Afterlife once again.
Oh, and you can see Enigma get a nice bomb off, but nothing more than that going to come from it. But this is good focus at the moment from Walk It Off. Take out Osiris. Make sure Darzur can't use his Lord of the Afterlife aggressively, and having to use it defensively means he can't really go in for a gank, really, unless it's definitely safe to do so. Otherwise, he could get himself caught out of position. So keeping him on the back foot. He has gone back to base for the first time now. Picked up combat boots as well. Going to be working for the Tabby, and then on top of that, he's also picked up purification beads.
And now the duo lane from Walk It Off is rotating out. First of all, they're rotating out of lane a lot. But second of all, right now they're rotating out. They're just looking to see if they can make anything happen. Definitely thinking about this speed buff and, potentially the gold tree that would come after good engagement. Nice pillar from Vastricol just to block it off. Heroes and Zeros is properly assessing the threats from Walk It Off. And while they are behind, the thing is, Walk It Off needs to get ahead right now, and they might not be getting far enough.
Oh, they're diving right inside. Rafa's going to go deep, finds the stun. Athena roll in. Immediately using the assassinate, though, as Athena comes down as well. Ragnarok's not going to find a target, but the taunt does onto him. There's a card applied. The Ghost of Pop Style still going. They don't get anything out of that, and that cost them 3 ultimates there overall. And now can they turn it around? Meanwhile, mid lane, still some bombs raining down. Nothing more than that, but right inside, still continuing.
Yeah, Sayo's in a lot of trouble here, taking the hits. Loki comes back in. Nice 3-man taunt, but a little bit too late. Will Frez to be able to get out. Nice snipe, but the decoy blocks even better. Dash still gets off, and with that preemptive strike, now it could be Fexes in trouble, but Rollout's going to knock him away, and he should be safe. So unfortunate to actually hit that ability. The one ability you really never want to hit.
Trying to gank a Loki is one of the toughest things in the game to do. He used the Assassinate to escape the Ragnarok and the Athena combo that was available for him. Didn't land it overall, and that's just going to mean that they wasted 3 ultimates, and then Sayo died because they continued to chase as a team overall. They used 3 ultimates for that and lost a kill. Not good start. No, sorry, not a good, starting play for them overall. Maybe they just leave Loki alone right now. If they do that again, it could be at a worse detriment.
Yeah, and that said, while Loki is going Heartseeker, his build isn't the greediest Loki build in the world. Like Heartseeker is certainly greed, but it's not like he's going double stack just yet. So
Yeah.
they do want to pressure him, but they don't need to put too many resources onto it. And that's probably just one of those situations where Loki got a really good assassination off, and they probably should have just let that be.
Yeah, just let it be indeed. But right now it's 1-1, 8 minutes in. Kind of a slow-paced game, bit of action, but no one really dying as much as we've seen in some of the NA games earlier on. But 1,000 gold E for walking off now, and just over 1,000 experience as well. And I expect Sio just to try and farm away in this lane just to catch back up again after having that little early death for himself.
Yeah, but you know, Sio at this point could start to take a little bit of pressure from Loki himself, as once you start to level up that aim strike, you can really get scary. And I think given with the solo Loki build, he might prioritize Vanish and aim strike over his ultimate and really just use that defensively and try and get more damage out of his basic abilities.
But Raph is still hovering around this right-hand side here, looking for an opportunity. There's a ward down, unfortunately, though, so it's going to give a lot of vision. Now Raph is going to rotate into that ward again. Red buff has been started, and Raph is looking for it, but 3 men are already round here from Heroes and Zeros. They're doing a very good job, Heroes, of defending their own buffs now after the initial start. You saw Vastrical rotate on that speed earlier on, then made sure there was no aggression, and Mugiwawa is going to be everywhere right now, making sure there's no opportunity. Right camp's going to spawn, though, Cret, and maybe we'll see some action.
Yeah, Iraffer is definitely sitting around, but it's a nice two-man taunt in the middle lane. Mugiwawa going to take some damage, and Enigma going to use his beads. 3 members of Walk It Off at this right camp, and with Osiris here, he's going to try and Spirit Flail. It forces the Hog, so left camp is all that much more gettable for Heroes and Zeros, and it's something they're going to want to be looking for in about 40 seconds. I believe they do have a timer on this camp, and honestly, it seems like Walk It Off might not.
Well, 135-second beads were used then on the cooldown by Agni in the middle lane. So overall, we'll have to see if he gets himself caught out of position again. Because I think those are just a bit too early, those beads overall. I think he panics a little bit too much. But for the time, as long as he plays safe, it should be fine. But in doing this right now, Walk It Off, going to be able to take the left-hand camp as well. Heroes and Zeros, like you said, they were well aware of it. They got the last one. But right now, it looks like Walk It Off are controlling that zone perfectly and going to be able to pick that one up as Daza looks for a play onto Sio, not going to find it on this right-hand side.
Yeah, nice slow card from Sio to just give him the room he needed, and that will be the left mid camp going to Walk It Off uncontested. Heroes and Zeros are being very picky with the fights that they choose, and they are giving away gold, and they're accepting that. So it's very important to realize that it's not like Walk It Off are really making plays and forcing Heroes and Zeros into bad spots where Heroes and Zeros is not able to contest. They could have, they chose not to because they realize they're trying to read the power spikes in this game, and they feel like Walk It Off is stronger than them right now, but they'll be able to be stronger later.
Well, right now you're going to see Rafa taking down the red buff, probably going to be giving that one over to Raw once again. As both sides continue to farm, Gold Fury not really been attempted. We did just see Frezzy float around that area, but he needs to go back to base and get a ward. No ward coverage for the time being for Walk It Off, and that's why you can see on the map now Moex has just rotated over there himself, just to make sure no shenanigans are happening around that Gold Fury.
Yeah, and you know, Moex has spent a lot of time not in his lane, which is really... It really is impressive to me how he's been able to spend so much time rotating and being available in the jungle, able to rotate to mid if he needs to, and is still ahead of Vastrical in farm. Granted, he did get that first blood, and maybe he's riding that wave, but everything's looking good for our Artemis player, and Vastrical's behind a significant amount of gold.
Well, early Sentry Ward brought out by Frezzy there. He's popped it down at the Gold Fury, controlling that area right now with that. So now there's no vision for Heroes and Zeros. So keep an eye on Walk It Off, because it looked like they were threatening to go for an offensive sort of play on that Gold Fury. As Daza in mid lane, gonna just go straight up to Fexes and start boxing with him, but comes out Wisp for where after the Celestial Beam hits. And he's gonna retreat back as right and camps are due to spawn soon. And maybe we'll see Walk It Off give up these right camps for an attempt at the Gold Fury. Not sure though, because it looks like they're already rotating right.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't hate an early Gold Fury play coming out from Walk It Off. Right now, a lot of their advantage is on their Hunter. Probably still riding that first blood, but he's about 500 or 600 gold ahead of his lane opponent, and that's a solid third of the Walk It Off lead. Right camp will go to Iraffer, no problem. Loki just returned to base. And maybe Raffer. Oh, that's a dash in and a taunt. Enigma could be in trouble. Nice Searing Pain. Ragnarok coming through.
Ragnarok going to connect, and with Athena dunking down, that's a dead one. A Celestial Beat collects from Fex says, Lord of the Afterlife pop by Dazu. He's going to live for the time being, but Mugiwawa with the Cataclysm only going to delay the pressure coming out from Walk It Off. So, and one kill picked up for them. Although Walk It Off kind of low in this situation with Sire rotating over, they could possibly look for a Gold Fury thanks to the sustain coming out from Fex says in this middle lane. But left camp's coming up as well. What's going to be the call?
You know, I don't think they're going to go for the Gold Fury just because Iraffer was forced very low, nearly caught, but because of diminishing returns, he was able to jump away just before Mugiwara landed the Cataclysm that likely could have been his death. Also, Darzer, I think, didn't realize that the Fender is so low, but instead, they're going to send 4 players left-hand camp. Mugiwara might have actually gotten one of those Harpies with the Shockwave. Always hard to tell as that ability can do incredibly small amounts of damage when it's at max range and low rank.
Yeah, it was surprising. So, right now, you can see the control from Walk It Off. You saw the game plan in this. Sentry Wall put down by Darzer at the Gold Fury now, so now they've got control of this Gold Fury area once again. And it's nice to see so many teams using these Sentry Wards so early, Cret, and actually starting to try and control areas of the map that are, really, really important at this stage of the game.
Yeah, they definitely are, but I also want to touch on what these teams are doing and how they're building their items. Stars are going to chin size on Osiris, as we all know. It's what you do. He is sitting lowest farm on his team, not really able to get as much as he wants because he's forced to do every buff with multiple people and hasn't really been able to leech as much experience as he does want. Iraffer, on the other hand, is going into a Void Shield. Not an item we see too often, but he's really obviously building towards a supportive Fenrir and is going to be part of the front line, which I really like. I think is really interesting, and we're probably going to see something like a 4 protect 1. Speaking of which, Mugiwara needs some protection in the left-hand lane.
Gonna get jumped on, use the Cataclysm, and the Ragnarok's on cooldown. Athena rotates in, Brutalize, only hits once, and the rollout is gonna push him away. But now Dars is here, but that was an important stun coming out as well for the time being. The re-engage is still going as Enigma gets a lot of damage off the Makerine. Dars is chased with a lot of the Afterlife. Good Impale coming out from Vastrical onto Frezzy, but no one's dropping right now. Both teams have a member low, and Fex says he's slowly rotating over to this. If they're gonna continue the fight, it could go in favor of Walk It Off, as you can see Heroes and Zeros trying to retreat back to the tower.
Yeah, Darzer is just a little bit too low to fight. Frezzy tries to dash in, but he's not going to find the range, and Enigma now going to head back towards the middle lane. He's only sitting on 1 bomb, so his Gold Fury could be a little difficult to contest, but Vastrical sitting at full health, and he certainly could make the plays he needs. That's going to be a taunt, and he could be in trouble. Nice stone shield, and now Frezzy not quite going to hit that pillar. Will be low enough and forced to back off. Loki on the right-hand side could get this mid camp. It's spawning in 3 seconds. He doesn't realize it. He doesn't have the timer.
Doesn't have the time and going to actually just soak up middle lane. One thing to note, talk about sentry wards again. I know we spoke about the Gold Fury, but look at this solo lane. We've got a sentry ward out from Loki from Heroes and Zeros, and one that just expired from Walk It Off on his own half of the jungle. They're both trying to control really well over the wall placements coming down, so the junglers can come in and gank this lane. Really unfortunate though that the one that Arm King's placed down as Loki does not spot that one just round the corner from Sio. Otherwise he'd have full control of this area right about now. But sentry wards being used a lot more than we normally see, and this has started after the EU LAN.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see it, and one of the biggest strengths of the Sentry Ward is that what you do is you put them where you don't want your opponents to have wards. So clearly Arn King doesn't want Sio to have any vision there, which just leaves some ambiguity for ganks. But Sio's ward is specifically to cover that little corridor and make sure that Darzer can't come through there. Left mid camp has been pulled by Mugiwara. Darzer's here as well. Question is, are they going to get it? No, Searing Pain comes through from Vexes. No Hogs coming out from Heroes and Zeros, and they just didn't have the damage to burst it down. A little bit strange there. They likely should have reset if they didn't think that they could kill it.
I mean, the most interesting thing about this game so far, Chris, is the fact Heroes and Zeros are the underdogs because Rafa goes aggressive in mid, not going to find Agni there as we see that. However, the interesting thing is Heroes and Zeros are the underdogs coming into this 4-way tournament. Everyone, nobody really knows about them. Some of the players have been on previous teams before, but right now they're giving a good fight against Walk It Off, who a lot of people have touted as the favourites to actually win this one.
Yeah, Mugiwara on the left-hand side, though, is going to need to have a good fight here. Cataclysm goes out, Tusky onto Vastrical, but can Vastrical turn this around onto Frezzy, who's getting a little low. Impale does not connect. That might have been enough. Yeah, the one thing I do want to touch on, Hindu, this is 2,000 gold in favor of Walk It Off. Do you think that's enough?
I think it's... I think it's really close. I mean, for 17 minutes in, 2,000 gold is not that big of a lead, let's be honest. I mean, that could go in a heartbeat. But right now, talking about trying to get a gold lead, they've started the Gold Fury here and immediately have to back out because they realize Agni and Osiris are well aware of that going on. But yeah, I mean, 2,000 gold, it's something. But when it's spread over the whole team, it's not as much as you really think.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Heroes and Zeros is looking to give up a little bit of gold. They're kind of waiting for Fenrir to fall off a little bit. They think that maybe they can deal with Sayo Zhongkui in these team fights, and perhaps the payoff from having Loki and Osiris will be bigger in the late game. I want to say Heroes and Zeros is giving up objectives as calculated decisions just to make sure that they don't end up in a fight and take too much damage. Also, we should mention Vasterkal is going into the Smek Witchblade build.
Yeah, we said earlier that he actually falls off a little bit late game. He's going to be very difficult to deal as much damage as the Artemis. So going for a Smek Witchblade build here is going to reduce the amount of damage that Artemis is going to do because she can't throw out as many auto attacks. It will help out the team overall. It's not a bad support-esque build here, but Gold Fury started once again by Rafa, but Darza and Enigma are aware something's up in the neighborhood. Who they're going to call? Because Cataclysm comes out, but Gold Fury is going to go over to walk it off. Now the engagement continues. It's Lord of the Afterlife is forced, and Raph is running away for his life. Actually uses the Ragnarok there, and the Athena roll is from Frezzy to try and get away just in time. And it was a free Gold Fury all in all for walking off, and they didn't pay with a life.
Heroes and Zeros could actually rush Fire Giant right now. I don't think they realized it, but that might have been their best response, as Iraffer, Moix, and Frezzy all had to return to base. They have a lot of auto attack damage on her, Loki, and Osiris. Instead, they're going to try and pay it back with towers, giving up one of their own in the right-hand lane as Arn King is dueling out Sayo. But he can't really take this fight. Sayo's sustained, and relative tankiness with that Breastplate of Valor is too much. So it's just going to be a tower trade after a gold trade. That's straight up money going to here, or to walk it off.
Well, has it finished yet? Because Fex says trying to rotate left-hand side, looking to slow them down if possible. Celestial Beam does hit Darza. Actually, no, that was the snipe that hit Celestial Beam just out of range there. But nothing more than that. Tower for tower is the mid-camp spawn. Rafa might be able to take these ones away from Agni, if Agni has anything to say about it. No, does look like one of them went to Rafa, one to Enigma.
And now Walkadoff is just trying to get their advantage even bigger. It looks like they're like, okay, we've got our gold, we've got what we need. Now let's make it happen before Heroes and Zeros has any opportunity to become any stronger and try and make a comeback. That said, they do have to be wary of, honestly, a fairly strong team fight coming out of Heroes and Zeros. They have good disengage to deal with the Zhongkui and just kind of get away from him when he pops his ghosts. And with Cataclysm and Agni Bombs raining down, Loki for those spot initiations and assassinations, and Osiris doing just a lot of auto attack damage, this could be good for Heroes and Zeros, but Osiris hasn't really been able to find his footing, sitting at level 13.
I mean, the one interesting thing to say about this composition from Heroes and Zeros, Cret, is the fact that Loki will focus... If Loki goes for the Artemis kill and tries to focus Artemis out of this team fight, meanwhile, Darza and that Osiris could apply the tether to Zhongkui on Sayo, and that tether is going to reduce the amount of damage those ghosts are going to do that are going to fly out of him, which means they could technically contain him, and then having Anher there just to make sure the Witchblade comes into play against the likes of Artemis and of Fenrir in the jungle, that could actually play into their strengths overall if they focus the targets right and get that opportunity.
That's definitely true, but based on their actives, there's absolutely no way to have a Heavenly Agility, no way to have a Shell, which means that they don't really have the actives that you want to deal with Sayo on that Zhongkui. A little bit of a gank coming out. We'll see if this happens, but Sayo going to receive the Defender of Olympus. Big rotations coming out from Walk It Off, and they're going to be, Heroes and Zeros are going to be forced to disengage. Can Mugiwara get out? No, he's just going to die, and this pick could be the Fire Giant, if it does end up happening.
Mugiwara is low, the brutalized damage is on, but the rollout is away and the invulnerability is on, so he's not going to slow him down as he dives in. And with Agni there to cover and the shield online, Mugiwara is going to live. You're right, though. I mean, he's...
Oh, no, he's not.
Oh, no, he's not. Moix on the backside with the ball secures the kill, but Loki's going to rotate onto Moix, and Moix is going to run away, so Celestial Beam does connect, but On King might be able to find the kill. The bleed's enough to bring down Moix, but now Loki might pay with his life as well, as still the fight rages on in middle lane. Tether applied to Sayo. He's not got the ghost anymore. The Tether's going to stun him, and he has to use the beads immediately to disengage. 3-2 right now. Crazy fight, and that was all to try and get that right-hand side tower.
Yeah, that was a huge fight, and... You know, I want to say, yeah, the gold advantage did go in favor of Heroes and Zeros there. Moix's death was worth so much in comparison to Mugiwara.
But right now it's 3-2 with 3 towers down across the map. Gold lead with 3,000 now in favour of Walk It Off. Some of that is down to the Gold Fury, but experience over 4.4 thousand. And like you said, you know, Heroes and Zeros seem to have given up quite a bit of experience and gold in some aspects to just hope and wait for this Fenrir to slowly, not necessarily fall off, but become more situational.
That said, both junglers are running on very low farm, very low experience, and I feel like Fenrir is better than Osiris in that situation. He can be more more support focused and looking on initiations with Unchained, trying to confirm those easy kills with the Brutalize when he gets the chance, or at the very least force out some expensive peel in either the Cataclysm or the Agni Stun. And he's got Ragnarok to set up for Fexes on that Ra. Osiris, on the other hand, when he's not big enough to kill you, it's really, can he get enough done with that Judgment Tether? And we haven't seen it just yet.
Well, he does have the chins online now as well, and against, you know, the health pool of Sio with that Warlock Sash, it will help him chunk him down a little bit easier. And you can see right now, Walk It Off floating around once again the Gold Fury, which is due to spawn soon. They've already got Sentry Wards in position. Rafa trying to zone out middle lane, going to get spotted out there. Not going to force the Medjai's off him though, and with that Medjai's build, he's gone very
Frezzy.
Utility.
Nice preemptive strike just to get out of that bad situation. Blink in from Mugiwawa. We'll see if this does happen. And Frezzy's going to be turned on. Defender of Olympus and Ragnarok coming out. Hindu Man. And they're going to look to go onto the Agni, but will not find it. Cataclysm, IRAP are getting turned on. Nice Aegis. And the snipe coming through. Now Fexes is up in the front. He's going to drop the heal. He's going to try and get some damage, but he's impaled into the wall, Hindu Man. And this is going to be a big fight. Loki comes in.
Loki does come in, he has to use the beast to disengage straight away. Sao chasing onto him, looking for the exorcism if he can find it. Enigma trying to give some supportive play, but right now, only one member goes down, and that's on Walk It Off, and that's going to be Fex, as Loki rotating just a little bit quicker than Sao for that. However, most of Heroes and Zeros have rotated back to middle lane, but look what Walk It Off are doing here, they're trying to push on. They're trying to go for the Gold Fury. Sao pressures mid.
Yeah, and with the build coming out from Moex, this Gold Fury will not be any problem for him, any threat to him. Vastrico walking past just casually finds out that they're doing it, jumps away, but he's going to be caught. He's going to die here. And with Osiris coming in to try and save him, that's a bad decision. He's dead. You have to let him go, and if Darzer or Mugiwawa die here, Sio's going to combat Blink forward with the Recall Demons. We'll find another kill, and that very well could be the Fire Giant.
Yeah, Vastrico checking out what was going on. He couldn't force a reset then. Without his ultimate, he didn't really have any chance of really picking up that Gold Fury. Then, honestly, stayed a little bit too long, got rotated on, and then following suit, Darza paid with his life trying to support his teammate. And now you're going to see Walk It Off extend their lead further as the mid camps on the right are going to be taken away as well.
Yeah, they're not going to go for the risky play here where I think they might have just been able
They'll be
to try and
tempted.
force the Fire Giant there. They definitely were thinking about it.
Yeah, I think the problem was that they just used the Hog on the Gold Fury as well, and with, you know, Frezzy being low on mana, it could have been a bad situation to get into, especially, you know, a mistake at this stage of the game puts Heroes and Zeros right back in contention in terms of golden experience, and it would have frozen up the game a little bit, but right now, I mean, Walk It Off in a good position.
Yeah, they definitely are, and they're probably able to carry their team fights all the way through with Sio and the Zhonghui. I love the choice of combat Blink. A lot of Zhonghuis will get Blink just to get into the right situation and try and chase people down, and that's an Defender Olympus on the right-hand side as Loki does show up. So great reflexes from Frezzy, not going to find anything off of it, but better safe than sorry. Now Frezzy could be in trouble, will just dash away. But the combat Blink is great because Sio walks in the right position, and then you can't get away from him.
That's right. I mean, the one thing about Sio as well, you know, on this Zhonghui, as soon as he gets in any form of trouble, immediately the Defender of Olympus comes out from Frezzy every single time. Engaging middle lane. He didn't actually taunt them, but already forced the beads on Vastricol, so that's going to be a small win for Walk It Off already. They know Vastricol's not got beads now, so keep an eye on that one. They may go for it again. Meanwhile, though, while he's been defending this middle lane, Moex has split pushed left-hand side and evened up the towers once again. And as it turns out in towers right now, you can see this middle one's a little bit worse for wear as well, as Rafa is floating around mid.
Yeah, Rafa's trying to see if he can get anything accomplished. Really playing a supportive jungler. Now going into a little bit of penetration just to try and maybe do some more damage in these fights. But this really is... Fenrir's a character that sort of sits on the fence between Assassin and Warrior, and this is definitely Warrior Fenrir.
I mean, Fenrir has a lot of damage. His scaling is very good into the late game, but the only problem is he's confirming that damage with the Brutalize. I think with the team composition he's against, he can get a lot of that damage off. There's not that much they can really do to peel him off that Brutalize.
That said, imagine Fenrir brutalizing an Osiris, right? And
That's
while
true.
brutalize does do a ton of damage over the entire duration, it actually doesn't have very high DPS. The damage per second is going to be about 300, 350, and Osiris, once he gets 2 offensive items even, just Shins and Aussie, should have more than that. So Brutalize is a little bit of a risky move when you're playing that Assassin Fender. It will confirm kills if you add up all the damage, but it might just take too long.
Well, right now what he's doing is playing the warrior composition. We saw in the team fight just before the Gold Fury they all initiated that was Rafa got very low but tanked up a lot of the damage coming out from Heroes and Zeros and allowed his team to sort of necessarily clean up. As you can see, wards being cleared out around the Fire Giant now by Heroes and Zeros. They're well aware this is their next threat of an objective on the map. Meanwhile though, Moex still pushing this left hand side and as much as possible. Needs to watch himself a little bit because Osiris is in the area and Anher's on his way as well.
Yeah, but honestly, Moex is looking really good this game in terms of his individual performance. He's looking really good in terms of his farm and his levels. He's even level with Vastrikal, but he is +4 to Darzer, and he's sitting at 13,000 gold, so in a very good spot, and can probably 1v2. Definitely 1v1.
Well, he's got his Rage online as well now, so he's going to be doing even
Oh, yeah.
more crits over and over again. Meanwhile, Vastrikal, because he went for that Witchblade build there, overall still not got boots online yet, but he doesn't really need them because of the mobility he's getting from Witchblade and the Heartseeker. But with no crit online, there's definitely an advantage to Artemis right now.
Well, the other thing about having Witchblade instead of boots is you have absolutely zero penetration. And that first 15 points, mathematically, is incredibly valuable. It's just going to be such a large percentage damage increase. So Vastrikal, now finishing that Executioner, his damage just spiked up a lot, but the question is, will it be enough?
Will it be enough? As you can see, walk it off. Still pushing in this middle lane for the time being. Heroes and Zero seem to be a bit wandering right now. Not sure what to do. So many outer towers down on the map. They're looking for a point of contention. Now, Gold Fury's due back up against Soomkrat. And I hope we see Heroes and Zeros make a big play for this one. Because they've technically given up the last two for free.
Yeah, they definitely have, and it's really time to start fighting. You know, I was saying all game, all right, Heroes and Zeros are going to give this one up. They don't want to take this fight. It feels too risky. But now with 6,000 gold and 8,000 experience in favor of Walk It Off, they're really hitting the point where it's like, okay, your late game isn't that much better than theirs. If it's better at all, you really have to fight.
Well,
And Moex is going to...
Yeah, he went aggressive, started it, but there is a sentry ward down from Heroes and Zero, so it looks like they're ready for it this time round overall. Moex thinking about doing it again as the rest of his team walk it off, try and pull Heroes and Zeros over towards the Fire Giant area here, and it looks like Heroes and Zeros can't make a decision either. Look at them right now. They're not sure what's going on. I think this is a good call from walking off. They're trying to split the troops.
Yeah, they really are, and you know, honestly, speaking of split push, Loki really could be split pushing right now, and yet Arn King's sitting in mid. He's trying to look for an opportunity to join in on the team fights, and I don't know if that's really going to be working for him. I want to see those invis pushes coming out, especially considering his penetration is basically done. He's going to be sitting at 26 plus Titan's Bane, which is really, really strong.
Well, here we go. We've got two sides of the map right now. Sentry wards down by walking off on both sides, although right now Heroes and Zeros placing their own again to control the Fire Giant, but that leaves Gold Fury exposed for the time being. But they're not sure exactly walking off what they want to do. I felt like they wanted to try and just pick one of those up for free, but now Heroes and Zeros rotating straight over to this right-hand side as a whole team. This is going to leave Gold Fury available if they see it. Enigma takes a lot of poke from Moex in that mid lane, chunked down by a third right now.
Oh,
Snipe come out as well! Does connect from Vexes, and that's going to force them back. That could be a Gold Fury in itself in a 4v5 situation if Agni does go back to base.
I don't think they can do Gold Fury, though, with the Fire Giant available at this point in the game, but it's going to be a dash forward from Frezzy. It looks like they will be rotating over to the left-hand side of the map, and now H&Z, they do have the opportunity to sneak the Fire Giant. Once again, 3 auto-attack characters on their team, but instead it looks like they're just going to sit in the middle lane indecisive. A pause coming out, and we're going to see what's happening with that, but Gold Fury has indeed been pulled. Enigma has returned to the field, and, you know, honestly, this Agni has a lot of magic power on his side. He's sitting at 285 right now.
Yeah, with that Book of Tough, going to increase that as well. He's also gone for the Combat Blink as well, as Sayo did. I mean, on the other side as well, talking about Walk It Off and Frezzy right now, he's gone for the Shell of Absorption. Now, we don't often see Shell that much, but you always talk about how strong of an item it is, Krat. Why is it so good?
Okay, so shell absorption, first of all, is like a double solve for 5 seconds, just added on, or I guess a triple solve if you're including the original 20, which is great. But then you add 15% damage reduction. It comes out flat after protections. So if a Hubwall ultimate would hit you for 1,000 damage, it will now hit you for 850, which is nice.
It
But
makes
it
a big difference.
stacks. Yeah, it does, but it stacks
It's
linear with Athena, the ultimate, the damage reduction there. So that's 15% plus 25%. That's going to be 40% off of a Hubble ultimate. So it's now hitting for 600 instead of 1,000. And this rapidly becomes very big, and it rapidly means that whoever Athena goes on defensively, such as Sayo and Zhonghui, will not die.
Well, take into account as well, Sayo with that demon bag as well. That's going to give him some protections as well. On top of the fact he's very tanky with the Warlock Sash and the Breastplate of Valor, going to give him some health and some physical protection. So I think we'll see Frezzy looking to use that more often than not onto him. But he's also been doing it a lot on Rafa for the initiations. Rafa's gone in deep with the Ragnarok, with that Magi's Blessing online, and Athena's dunking down on the back lines and causing all manner of havoc right now.
Yeah, and as long as heroes and zeros are using the strategy of attack what's in front of them and dropping, honestly, meteors more than anything. If they drop 3 meteors onto Fender as he jumps in, it could be really, really bad for them. But Heroes and Zeros are going to head towards the Fire Giant. They're going to look to make that happen. Honor Pillar does come down, but the rotation is coming through from Walk It Off. Will they get there in time? As the Fire Giant sitting at about 50% now.
This is close.
But they're getting into the pit. 40%, and it will be contested.
Get it.
Heroes Zeros gets it just in time, but Zhonghui coming in with the Recall Demons. Moex is chasing down in the back wing of Vaster Call, and it looks like Darzer is going to go down along with Enigma, Mugiwawa, Arn King, and Vaster Call trying to back out. They did get the Fire Giant, so at least Walk It Off can't get that, but they likely will get Mugiwawa here.
Well, Mugiwawa's quite out of position, surrounded, taunted, brutalized as well, and he's going to drop down. Even the shield's not going to prevent it. And with that Fire Giant going to them, at what cost is the question? They lost a Gold Fury, they lost 3 members of the team, they're going to lose a tier 2 tower on the right-hand side, and there's only 2 members alive for the next 30 seconds to defend this this Phoenix. However, there's no minions here, so they're going to have to tank this up and technically backdoor it. Taunt, not going to connect from Frezzy. There's a good pillar to try and slow him down. Rafa going to zone them out and just keep the pressure on. He takes a lot of damage, has to Aegis, but all he's doing is buying time for the Phoenix to go down from the pressure of Moex and the rest of Walk It Off. A Phoenix for two members to have a Fire Giant? I'm not sure if that was worth.
No, it wasn't. But if you remember back, right, there was time for Heroes and Zeros to make that decision a little bit quicker than they actually did. And it very well could have made the difference. Just a little bit of indecisive there, costing them a lot. And the first Phoenix of the game going down is definitely a big blow. Walk It Off is now sending up 10,000 gold, 11,000 experience. They've got a Phoenix down, and there are 2 towers and 2 Phoenixes remaining on the map. That said, Fire Giant will not respawn for another 4 minutes, which means that Walk It Off might just spend this time sitting around and waiting for that to happen. They might not want to push in without that buff.
I expect to see Walk It Off here try and siege up left-hand side more than anything and allow those fire minions to point to the base. Look for a 4v5 fight. Make sure one of the team is isolated away from that. But right now, Heroes and Zeros with a couple of members still with the Fire Giant buff. They're looking to try and pressure mid and get some of this global gold back. But a good taunt coming out once again as Sayo gets a little bit of damage off. The Make It Rain's landing onto Sayo. He's under a lot of pressure. The Tether is also on him. He pops the Recall Demons. There's a lot of damage coming off from him as well. Forcing him out. Lord of the Afterlife. The Rain of Hours not going to land from Moex. It's a late ball coming out, but immediately Mugiwawa's going to try roll out, but gets blocked by Frezzy, and now it looks like Mugiwawa's going to be the cost for that engagement on the middle lane. They don't even get the tower for it. Mugiwawa drops to Fexes, and once again it's a 4v5.
Yeah, and that shell coming out from Athena there was so important just to keep Sayo and Frezzy alive for just a little bit longer. With Mugiwawa down, there's a pretty good shot of taking this mid tower. Frezzy's going to charge up his preemptive strike. He's going to go in, and with Moex on the tower, you can assume that it's already dead.
Yep, dropping down very, very quickly. More global gold in the pocket for Walk It Off. That's going to extend their gold lead to just under 12,000 right now at 35 minutes in this game. It looks like they're going to push in this left hand, so I don't even care about the minions right now. Frezzy quite happy to tank this one up. Bring down the last tower that stands for Heroes and Zeros now, and now they're down to Phoenixes, and only 2 of them at that, as the other one is still currently down in the right-hand lane. Look at those super minions flying down that right-hand side, though. Those fire minions are just charging down 2 full waves, and they're going to point the base at the same time. Someone's going to have to defend this soon.
Hindu man, Fexes has 5,000 gold in hand.
That's
He
ridiculous.
actually has so here's one of the problems with Ra. When you have a Chronos Pendant and a Book of Thoughts, so an incredible
Never need
mana
to
pool,
back.
a lot of MP5, you don't have to go back. He's gonna return to base, finish Heavenly Agility, Rod of Tahuti, and
Wow.
pick up a Magic Focus to go into an Obsidian Shard. So Fexes was a problem before, and now he is a
big
supreme
issue.
being. Oh yeah. Moek's
A
also
big
full
issue.
build Artemis.
Yeah, full build Artemis as well. I mean, right now, Walk It Off looking good for this one. It's going to be a tough ask for Heroes and Zeros to come back in. They've got a bit of time to the Fire Giant spawns, but we just saw, you know, Walk It Off managed to push down all those towers without the Fire Giant on their side. And Golfure is going to be up at exactly the same time pretty much as the Fire Giant, pretty much a few seconds of difference as we saw. So what's the decision from Walk It Off going to be? Well, they want to continue sieging, it seems. They're going to push down mid lane. They feel strong, and with Fexes buying all those items and that Heavenly Agility, I spell trouble for Heroes.
Yeah, this siege is just so good. They've got the heal from Ra to sustain up. Frezzy can dash in, taunt, and walk away. He probably won't die unless Heroes and Zeros use pretty much everything off of him, and then he can just sustain up with the Ra. But his taunt alone should get active, should get beads. So I really like this decision coming out from Walk It Off. They're looking good right here, and now they just need to find the right opportunity to go in, get some damage on that Phoenix.
Muggy.
And
I was
Artemis-
expecting it. There's a blink, there's a cataclysm, the Make It Rain lands. The tether's applied to a few of them, but Sayo is still big on the front line, keeping it busy. The boar is doing work on the back line. Vashiglas used the beads, and meanwhile, Arm King tries to go in deep, doesn't find the kill, being chased out once again. Darzus on the front line has used the Lord of the Afterlife away, and a few ultimates burnt there from Heroes and Zeros. Only one remaining, that's on Vastrakel. Meanwhile, Sayo did not use his ultimate, neither did Frezzy, and the Fire Giant's due up. It's flashing, it's back online, and look at Walk It Off right now, crap. Straight for it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. With only an on-hurl and now one meteor from Agni against the core of the team fight from Walk It Off, which is that Recall Demon Defender Olympus combination, I just don't see Heroes and Zeros possibly being able to do that, especially once Arn King on Loki wasn't able to kill his target. That's so unfortunate. Heavily Agility comes out. Sayo combat blinks forward with the Defender of Olympus on him. He will find the Loki, and now he's just going to turn. Darzer is dead. Mugiwawa in a lot of trouble. Taunted out. Stone Shield not quite late enough. You can actually shield yourself out of a taunt if you're really perfect. It didn't happen that time, and this likely will be the game in favor of Walk It Off.
Well, Phoenix does go down. There's no minions here just yet at the moment, but now they're going to try and take out the Titan alone. Mugiwawa trying to attack up the front line. Enigma's getting very low in the backside. Brutalized damage onto Mugiwawa. They're still tanking this one up for the most part. They're very tanky indeed, and they're surviving so long. It looks like this one's going to go down. Walk It Off. Take game one from Heroes and Zeros. But Heroes and Zeros did look anything like Zeros in that game. They put on a really good performance.
Yeah, they did really well. They were very tactical and well thought out in giving up fights and saying, okay, we can't take this fight. This isn't a good one. We're too weak relative to them. We need to wait. But in the end, Arn King had all of their kills, and once it hit the late game, they just weren't able to get enough. Artemis wasn't dying. The shells coming through from Frezzy were perfectly timed, and overall, Walk It Off did look very strong. They might not have won as fast as they were expected to, but they still won in dominant fashion.
They did win in dominant fashion. I mean, like you said, all 4 kills went over to Loki. Nobody else on the team got a kill, and that could have caused some issues for them in itself. I mean, if Darza could have picked up a couple of those kills on Osiris, maybe he could have got himself going a little bit earlier. Same for Enigma, you know, in that middle lane. And overall, Heroes and Zeros lose game 1, guys, but we'll be right back shortly because we've got a lot of games coming up today. The next game will be Agilitas versus Exposed Secrets, and that one is going to be a crazy match, I expect.